Today I'm going to show you how to remove this old flick mixer tap and replace it with that great big fancy new one sitting behind it. And stick around till the end, because at the end I'm going to tell you the few things that gave me the most trouble. Under sinks there's never a lot of room, so to make my life easier I have completely removed the door, pulled out all the stuff, and we're going to need to access those taps. And that screw. That'll be fun. For any plumbing job, you have to turn off the water at the main supply. There's mine. Turn it off and go inside and test it. So let's test it. Cold water. Off. Hot water. There we go. All the water that's laying in the pipes is empty. There's no water coming into the tap. Good one. When I'm doing a job over a sink, I always like to put the plugs in. And I also like to put a cloth in the bottom of the sink. That way if you drop something, especially a small screw, it doesn't end up down the drain. And if you drop something like this, it doesn't damage your sink and it doesn't make quite so much noise. These are the plugs for the dishwasher and the garbage disposal, so I'm going to turn them off and pull them as far out of the way as I possibly can. I'm going to lay a cloth. I'm expecting there will be some water dripping out of the hoses when I unplug them. So I'm going to put down a cloth and a dish and just hope that any mess I make, most of it will be caught in that. So let's have a look at the tap I'm using. That's what I'm using. In it you get the tap. The tap actually comes in a soft bag to protect it. How nice is that? Some instructions and your hoses. Red for hot, blue for cold. You also get a little Allen key. Get all my bits, my tap, my hoses, my Allen key, a wrench, and a light. First thing we need to do is screw the hoses onto the tap. So get your cold one, your blue one and your blue one. Just screw them in. We need to unscrew the two pipes and you have to unscrew that. There's water in the hoses, remember, so don't freak out. This tap here, in case you're wondering, this is the tap providing the water to the dishwasher. That's why I'm not doing anything with it. And that's what this hose is too. It's the drain pipe for the dishwasher going into the plumbing under the sink. So this is not hard, it's just really awkward. There we go. See this screw here? You need to undo this to be able to remove the tap. and it is a tricky, rotten, horrible thing to get access to. I'm just lucky that I managed to get some pliers up there, and slowly but surely I was able to pry it loose. Otherwise, there is a special tool that you can buy, and it would only be cheap, but I couldn't be asked to go into the shop, so I did it the hard way, and perseverance paid off. Unscrew the thing, the bottom falls out. I'm a little bit excited. Are you ready? Just like that. Let's get the new tap. Oops, I forgot. To undo this first. Take the hoses off again. Now the instructions said put the hoses on. It's so not going to work. It's so not going to work. I'm sure sometimes instructions are put there just to deter you from doing the job yourself, so that you can actually have to spend money and pay a plumber. Remember what order these go in? Take them off. Put it in the hole. Now we're going to go underneath again and put that back on. And tighten it up. I'm really annoyed about that. I did what the instructions said and it was wrong. There's no way I could have got those hoses through that black thing. So that's a lesson to be learned. At the top, make sure your tap is on, straight, how it's supposed to go. That looks pretty straight. And then go back underneath and finish tightening that thing. It can always be tightened again at a later date if it needs to be. There we go, that's nice and tight. Underneath again. And screw the hoses in. The hoses that they told us to screw in at the start, which turned out to be wrong. Make sure you put the cold one into the cold one, hot one into the hot one. Nice and tight, don't want it to leak. And attach it to the cold water supply. turn the water back on. And hope for the best. Okay, cold. Hot. Underneath, where we've tightened it all up and put all the attachments into each other and screwed it tight, doesn't seem to be any leaks, but I will keep an eye on it over the course of the day and make sure, just keep checking underneath that and make sure that it doesn't leak. I put some paper towel on the bottom of the cupboard and I've just gone about my business, you know, for a couple of hours or so, and it's still dry, so that makes me confident that all of the joins and fittings are all nice and tight, which means I can plug my dishwasher back in and I can put all the bits back in under the cupboard. I'm pretty pleased. Rightio, so the job as a whole was actually pretty easy to do. You're working in a confined space and there's things in the way and you can't get your hand in where you need to go, and unlike the plumbers who have got the long extended correct size tool to do the job, people like you and me at home have to make do with what we've got. So all things considered, the job was really easy, but there was one part that gave me quite a lot of trouble, and I'm going to tell you what that is right now. The part that gave me the most trouble was getting these screwed into place and making sure there were no kinks or bends in this hose. If this part, if your water inlet is down lower, it would have been a lot easier, but for me, I mean, it's barely a hand span from where the tap comes in to where the water comes in. I didn't have much space, so I've had to bend the hoses around. And when you turn this, when you screw this to tighten it on, this would screw as well. So what you need to know is if you hold this part with some wide, really grippy pliers with one hand and hold it stiff, and with your other hand get your spanner or your wrench and tighten this, this will turn and this will stay in the same spot. So this won't be twisting while you're twisting this. Does that make sense? I hope so. But apart from that, the rest of the job, it went really well. Here's the finished product. It works well, it looks great. There is so much room here to do dishes and big pots. Oh, it's so much better. I'm definitely glad that I did it. Much better.